Three, two, one.
It's Jay, it's Stone Gold. We're here at River Spirit Casino one more time, and we've got one of our famous Mvskoke storytellers here, Mr. Will Hill. I'm going to turn the time over to him.
Mumble Hedges, listen. You know, in a young man's life, there comes that time where he finds the one love in his life. I know Gijek is in love. But when we look for that perfect love, sometimes it's not always perfect for us. So, in this story, there was a young man, he was in love with a beautiful, she was an absolutely gorgeous Indian girl. He tried to make introductions in the old ways, where they went to relatives to try to find a way they could actually come and meet together. Because in those days, it was said that, you just didn't go with one person, you had to spend time with them. Sometimes it took up to 4 years before they actually asked for their hand in marriage. And in between that time, a young man's duty was to prepare a home. They usually had 4 arbors, and in the center was a fire. And so he had in his mind that he was going to try to win the heart of this girl. But everything he did, every time he tried to approach her, she was unapproachable. She didn't really want anything to do with it. He found himself perplexed. So he went to see a Haya, medicine man. He began to tell this old medicine man his tale of woe, how he was heartbroken that the woman he was attracted to wouldn't have anything to do with it. And so he said, son, I can make something, but it's got a price that has to be paid. You have to do exactly what I tell you to do. Because one mess up, one time you don't do what I tell you to do, you don't follow the steps, it could lead to tragedy. So he was really intending on capturing the heart of his lady love. So he was aggressive, and he said, make it for me, and I will make sure I follow every step. He said, all right. He said, I'm going to put some tobacco, and I'm going to put some sacred herbs in that tobacco, and I'm going to sing a special song. Now, this song really was intended to draw the attention of animals. And sometimes when the animals would come, so that the hunter could kill them, he had to slay them right away, or else they would become aggressive. And sometimes they took on otherworldly qualities. So you want to make sure you listen to what I tell you to do. He said, go ahead, go ahead. So early in the morning, about 4 o'clock, the old medicine man got all the elements together that he was needing. The young man sat there, they sat by the fire. He said, I'm about ready to make this invocation so that your lady love will fall in love with you. But remember, the first time that she approaches you, you must be ready to doctor her. Because if you don't doctor her, she will change into something unworldly. Do you understand me? He said, I understand. So the old medicine man, with a star field above and the moon big and bright, and the flames licking up to the stars, he began to invocate these elements. He sang, Anogiska, Anogiska, but the holy, Anogiska, Anogiska, but the holy, oh wow, oh wow. And even as he was singing that incantation, it seemed that there was an energy that filled the space. The young man could feel it. And all of a sudden that energy went right into that tobacco and those other elements. And once it was completed, the old man took a medicine pouch. He put that tobacco in there. He said, for the next 4 days, right when the moon is high above, wherever you think she is, you smoke 4 times. And then you smoke in the 4 directions until you come to that, you come back to the center of that circle where you think she is. He said, on the 4th day, he said, she will come to you. But remember what I said. You'll be overtaken with her love and her beauty. But don't let that fool you. You need to doctor her, or something tragic will happen. Mvskoke said, listen to me, he said. And the young man said, I will. So once it was completed, he started out. The first night he smoked 4 times as he was directed to, when the moon was high. And so he began to smoke. 4 nights he followed what he was supposed to do. And on the 4th night, it seemed like that smoke, it billowed even stronger and stronger to the air. It seemed like it even made like a trail. You could even see, like it looked like a man. It began to float across the ground until it dissipated. So the next morning when he went down to the river to draw water, there was his lady love. Then immediately she was taken with him. She began to talk to him, spend time with him. They laughed, they had a good time, and pretty soon, as young people do, they began to get together, and they began to kiss, and they began to enjoy each other's company. And he forgot that most important part was to doctor her. As he was promised he would do it, but he didn't. He failed to do this. And as he was embracing her, all of a sudden he felt something in his back, something sharp. He pulled away from her, and her face had changed into a skeletal face with glowing eyes. And she hugged him really tight till he could not even breathe. The night went dark. The next morning, when the elders came down to the river, they found these 2 skeletons embraced. So when you want something, make sure you don't want it so bad that it ends up killing you. That's the way it was, and that's the way it will be.
Mado.